Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins, and of course, with me as always is Mr. Bobby Blunt. Bobby, we sat here and talked about last week about the return of the Mac. Well, I equivalent to that return. I mean, the whole card. This is how I describe Saturday night, Bobby. It's like you go to the bar, you meet a hot girl. You guys start making out. That's kind of like the Paddy win and the Paddy walkout, right? And then she whispers to you, baby, why don't you come back to my place? The Connor walkout. And then I'm like, oh yeah. And then you go back to her place. You think you're about to, get it done. And then she falls asleep and leaves you with blue balls, just like Connor did on Saturday night when he blew out his knee in the first, 30 seconds. I don't really kind of know where to go here. Is Connor done? He says he's coming back, but it looks like torn meniscus, ACL maybe. Some people say ACL, some say meniscus. We don't really know. We just know we didn't get a fight Saturday night from Conor McGregor.
Yeah, no blue balls here. I fully climaxed. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like weird how to approach it because like normally we talk about the performance and there really, wasn't one. The card itself as a whole absolutely delivered. The main card was great. And we kind of did not know what we were going to get. Me and you were both pretty clear on that. I mean, I went as far to say as until he was in the cage, I wouldn't even really believe the fight was happening. Not to be cynical, but we've seen this before from him. Like we questioned, could his body get through a full training camp? Kavanaugh was pretty clear that like that was the goal. They were making sure he would not get injured at all, like being fully padded when they sparred and everything. And did that attribute to it? Kind of being in that real fight scenario is, I don't know, like there are multiple like ways you could take it. I mean, I've even seen some real tinfoil hat ones that you just forget how like Twitter could go. But overall, asking me like, do I think he's done? I thought he was done prior to coming into this. So, seeing this now, I think it's going to kind of be an even more difficult road back. But, I'm sure Connor will just praise Jesus Christ and everything will be fine. So what do I know?
Yeah. I think his body is done, right? Like it's equivalent. His body is done. Like his body, and we kind of talked about it into the lead-in is like, what will he look like? He didn't in the walkout. He didn't look like his normal self. Very not as loose as he once was, right? Not the arrogant, kind of confident Connor. I don't know if it was the 5-year layoff or anything else. I don't really think he went into the fight with the knee problem. And, I'm not making too much of the shoe taken off. As somebody who is almost is actually older than Connor, if I stood there and tried to take my shoes off like he did without sitting down on a stool and taking them off, I'd probably look the same. So,
you feel like you were looking in a mirror in that moment?
Maybe so. But it's, we talked about going to this, all the substances he was on, whether it was the steroids, right? And when you go on and off steroids, that messes up your ligaments. That doesn't include the alcohol, doesn't include the cocaine and all the partying and all the damage he's done to his body throughout not just the last 5 years, but even the years leading up to, in the past as well. So, it's your body's going to give out when you've run it through the ringer like he has, and his body's given out. And he just did not look, even like I said, the walkout didn't look normal. And then for them to say, yeah, for the last, months, we planned on starting the fight like that. Why the fuck would you start a fight like that? Like, what are you trying to be Jorge Masvidal? But like Max Holloway ain't running to try to fucking shoot on you. So I didn't understand even the throwing the switch kick like he did.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the feeling I had in real time. And then bizarrely enough, I actually recalled he started the first Max fight very similar. kind of like throw in something. And so whether or not he was like trying to get a free hit in or just kind of figure out the distance or whatever, but definitely like off a 5-year layoff, it did seem extremely bizarre. But then because of the result, I think, it's even more strange. Like, well, that because at first, like, you thought he was maybe like slipping on all the advertisements on the cage or something. You didn't like know whether or not the knee buckled, but then when he got back up and then went right back down, it was like, oh, okay, he's clearly compromised here. And I'm definitely not trying to make too much of the shoe thing. I just found it very bizarre after the fight was over that the broadcast went back and even showed that. So, like, if
Right.
anything, I think that's just on them because that got introduced into this. If they didn't mention that right there, it would have taken a few days for someone to like, figure it out and post about it. So they kind of led with it, almost seeing like, there was like, hey, who knows what happened here? And even Dana at the post-fight press conference, when everything was finished and he walked up, thanked everyone, told him to have a good night, he came back and like wanted to reiterate, hey, the view at the weigh-ins yesterday did like 40 million and he took his shoes off there and he seemed fine. So like almost trying to like reinstill in our mind, like, oh, there's no fuckery on our end. So
Yeah.
I think that's what really kind of opened the Pandora's box of it more than anything is their own. Let's just say their production crew did not have a good night on Saturday night. I mean, calling Shakur Jalen Williams from the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of bizarre. And I do feel for the fans that spent their hard-earned money to attend the event. I feel for Max, who went through a full camp, still got the biggest payday of his life. But to be frank, that's where my sympathy ends. Yeah, I don't feel I don't feel bad for Connor at all. If he comes back, he comes back. We'll see it. It's now not, I don't want to say being reported because like nothing is ever going to be given to us about the injury. Like the UFC does not have, to report things like the NFL does, like in between practices or anything.
Right.
So, and then I've seen some people, could turk it online saying it's probably more an MCL. And then you saw the video of him celebrating his birthday yesterday. So people are diagnosing that, saying he's not wearing a brace. So I'm just going to treat it as I did the last time he was out. When he comes back, I will bring it up. Until then, I don't really care what he does.
Right. That's kind of how, and to his credit, at least he's got, we keep saying he had 2 fights on his deal. At least he got that 1 fight in and he only has 1 fight left.
I think on his side, even though it was an embarrassing comeback, he would still consider this a massive success. Because if anything, I think he'd be kicking himself for pulling out of the Chandler fight because he would be a free agent right now if he was able to get that one. Granted, they maybe not would have offered it to him by then. But, it is, I was not the least bit surprised when it happened. Like, it was like maybe there was the letdown factor of knowing you weren't going to get a fight. But it's like, guy that's been out for the last 5 years. We kind of question where he is. That seems like one of the more plausible things of happening. Like,
yeah, and coming off the other leg injury, and sometimes what I've been hearing too is from like guys who have had injuries. Like it's not the injured leg that usually messes up; it's the other leg because they for months or years like they put all the weight on that one, and then it's hard to adjust. And then when you go do something, they end up messing up the non-injured leg a lot of times, and that's kind of what happened in this one.
Yeah, I mean that it could be that. I don't even think it really matters whether or not he came into the fight pre-injured because like what fighter is completely healthy coming into a fight,
Rob, I don't think that's a hot take. I think they are going to let him walk. I think they're going to get it through the 1 fight and then they're going to say see you later.
Yeah, I would call that a very reasonable take that
Yeah.
McGregor fanboys won't want to hear, and they'll, say you don't know what you're talking about. But it if he left this fight with no injury, I would still be kind of wondering, are they gonna re-sign him? Is the juice worth the squeeze? With now, I think it makes the UFC's decision a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh, he said no. I mean, not the last fight. What? I don't know what you mean. It's better for the. Oh, so he's saying let him go. Are you trying to say, Rob, let him go now? I don't like cut him now. Nah, you get the one fight out of him, and you get the gate. He's still
You
through at the gate.
yeah, you would get the gate. I love their deceiving thing is saying it's a record breaking gate, like not acknowledging that solely because of inflation and how much they're selling the tickets for.
Right.
Like every event almost breaks the gate. Granted, this was going to do really well. I don't know if we'll ever see the numbers for it, but like Rob does bring up an interesting point there because though you wouldn't think they'd want to forego that live gate again, do they make a calculation like is there going to be the same appetite for that, um obviously you have to headline him because of how you pay him, but can you trust him to headline the event?
That's what I was thinking about that same thing. If the next time out, is he a headliner?
I don't know how, again, just because of the dollar amount, I don't see how they don't have him headline it. Maybe if they want to.
Would you be surprised? And maybe the next guy, we'll talk about the next guy. We'll talk. What if the next time it's Paddy on the other end? Paddy's the main event and Connor's the co-main, or somebody like Sean O'Malley.
I mean, they could do it, but I think, again, just because of what they're forking over to him,
because he's the highest paid. He's getting paid 20, 30 million.
Yeah. It was my same answer on Saturday night when people are asking me why is he the main event and Paddy isn't the main event, and it's like, well, they're not paying Paddy, $40 million.
Right?
And
they're going to let him walk out of this contract, and they'll let him go box Jake Paul in Netflix, and he'll make. And some people, there's rumors too, Bobby, like he went through this fight, whether he was injured or not, we don't know, but that his finances are he's broke. Is better left,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's so much nonsense like that online. It's hard for me to.
I kind of believe the broke part. I kind of semi-believe that part.
Well, I mean, he was obviously found liable for the sexual assault. That hurt his bank account there. That hurt his brands in, Proper 12 kind of distanced himself from a cool man ago. I know he has all these other businesses. He was, advertising his Mcgregor energy drink, which apparently gives you 1 minute and 9 seconds of energy. And, so he's going to kind of always have these other businesses. But the main reason, like, he won the fight aside from the money is he just needed a fight to, like, drown out the negative sentiment in him in Ireland. And from whatever I read, that is not going to change because of fighting,
Yeah.
So at this point, I think it's just going to be more of, before when I thought the UFC might slow wall it coming back, I think they're going to be ready to get this booked as soon as he's ready. I don't think they're going to like stall him like they have done in previous years.
Yeah. Rob wants to know, who would you, the UFC, rather headline a number card going forward, Connor or Paddy? Paddy by miles.
Meaning if they were both on the card, or just who
like,
would they prefer?
Who would you rather headline the numbered card? Like if you were going to have a number card, you got to go Paddy at this point.
Well, I was saying something on Saturday that I thought was like kind of obvious just by the night, and people thought I was ridiculous. But I do think if there's one other fighter that they could headline a number event without there being a title, you could do Paddy now. Because I mean, I don't know if you just want to segue to Paddy now, but the way they
I want to hold on. So I want to get to Paddy, but I want to talk about Max on the other end here real quick. Max seems, he kept saying, "Hey, let's do a trilogy." And I get it, fell on deaf ears and everything else. But if I'm Max, I'd want to do the trilogy too, Bobby. I could beat this guy and get $15 million, and I'll take it. I mean, Max got the easiest payday of his life, and he'll take Conor in another easy payday of his second, the biggest payday of his life. But he's talking about staying at 170, maybe. I don't like that at all. I would do Max, and I'd let him go back down to 155 and give him and Hoofy. That would be a fun one.
I'd have no problem with it. I agree with him kind of staying at 55. But at the same time, in me saying that, I want to also give the caveat that we did not get to see him at 70, So maybe he just wants to get one in to actually like try the weight, because he essentially, he weighed in at 170, but that was about it. There was no fight. I mean, he beat him up when he was on the ground, but
if he was going to do at 170, and I know it's a big jump, but it's Max Holloway, so it doesn't really matter. If he was going to stay at 170, Carlos Prates.
No. That's why I just want him to go to 55. I mean, I think that size would be a problem, because like Conor at least was bulking up and like was not, he was also a 45er. And like one thing I also forgot to mention about Conor, we might want to take into consideration, I don't think him fighting at 170 is doing his ligaments any favors.
No, he probably should go to stay at 155.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I would prefer. I think we got more intriguing matchups at 155. I mean, essentially, neither fighter took any damage. So, like Paddy and Max just seems too easy for me. I know people want to do the easy button with Paddy Ilya, but
that's the fight, Bobby. Let's talk about Paddy. He came off the biggest star of the night, and maybe second. I thought maybe the second biggest star in this year, outside of Justin Gaethje at the White House.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like popularity and being,
that's what I mean. Like he crushed it. I mean, from the moment his music hit, and it's and everybody's doing everybody. I mean, the whole arena. Paddy da Paddy, Paddy da Paddy. I mean, and then he goes in there, BSD. I mean, he did like. We'll get to BSD and his dumbass fucking idiot move, but Paddy took care of business. I mean, and choked him out, and then he nails the on the mic, which he will. He can talk on the stick. He became the UFC's is on the cusp of being. He needs the belt, but I thought blew it away, Paddy, and you have to do him and Ilya now. Because I think that's the biggest fight the UFC can make in the division. That's bigger than the title right now.
I don't think he even needs the belt. Like he's that. It's working that well. Very well done by. I was shitting on their production of Shakur being called Jalen Williams, but they absolutely nailed the walkouts for the co-main and the main, but especially the co-main. Like knowing to pretty much take down the sound and just let the crowd chant his name for like a solid 10, 20 seconds before his music even goes off was especially on a Conor card. Because like when Conor was on the Jumbotron walking in, it just was not the same pop. Like you really felt that Ireland did not travel with him over there.
Right.
It was just the American fan base, to where Paddy's fan base, that's pretty much he's very popular here.
I mean, to their credit, they were already here in the States, right? Due to the World Cup, but yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that he was just having so much fun during the walkout the entire time.
Agreed, Rob.
Was
agreed.
What Rob said?
The
What up,
torch
bro?
for biggest real UFC star of Europe changed hands from Connor to Paddy.
Oh yeah, as far as like the Europe part, that very well statement, Rob, because
Yeah.
not even close. Absolutely.
The way that crowd popped for him and everything else, he nailed it.
And that's like you can take him in the States, or you can do him over there as well. Like the opportunities are like really endless with him as far as like the notoriety and the popularity. And he also like keeps getting better after every fight. Like for him to have a performance where he took absolutely no damage after he was just in a 25-minute war with Justin Gaethje taking a bunch of damage. Like you can't, have a better like bounce back win. Like that is the definition of a bounce back.
Yeah, it wasn't. His stock has rose since usually after a loss, a guy's stock I don't know if anybody's stock has risen higher in the last month than Paddy Pimblett's, right? Maybe Justin Gaethje, but I mean, Paddy loses, gets beat to death by Gaethje, and then you're like, oh, everybody's down, and then what Gaethje beats the way Gaethje beats Ilya, it's like, well, at least Paddy didn't quit on a stool and looked a little bit better at times. I guess he survived Gaethje, and then what he did Saturday night, it rose his stock even higher. He complete bounce back from January.
Yeah, I mean, since the co-main and the main were so quick, I actually went back and rewatched Paddy.
Who's the bigger
Gaethje
star,
again.
Ilya or Paddy?
That's really close because, Ilya, you obviously have kind of the Spain element, and over there, if we're talking like straight stock right now, it would probably be Paddy, but that could change off a Ilya win. I don't hate the call for Ilya Paddy, especially after Saturday night. I'm a much more receptive to it, but at the same time, Paddy literally works with anyone that's ranked at the top of the division. I would take any of those fights.
Yeah.
So that's another benefit is the dance opponent for him is irrelevant. We could have the Ilya fight at the top for what we would prefer, but are you telling me that you would not want to see him versus Charles Oliveira, him versus Max Holloway, him versus Arman Sarukian? I mean, he pretty much is the fighter that all of these fighters are going to be calling out in the upcoming time.
Yeah, so Rob says Paddy easy, almost to no large group of people doesn't hate him, unlike Ilya, who's extremely unlikable. That's true. Ilya is unlikable.
Yeah, no, Paddy definitely comes off a lot better for sure.
Yeah, I'm picking Justin still, Rob. I mean, you got to pick Gaethje. He just beat him months ago. My son's in the comment section. Shout out. He says Paddy needs a title shot at the end of the year. He already had one at the beginning of the year, didn't get it. So
but that is a great example that we actually have the youth in here clamoring for Paddy. Tell me the last UFC fighter that the youth cared about.
Right.
That he is growing in over there, here, and he connects with all the masses. I mean, the Barstool deal gives him. I know a lot of people that know him solely from that don't even watch fighting that much. So, I do think, especially if he's not turning around quickly, the Ilya fight does probably make the most sense, monetarily. But I would take any of those fights with him.
Yeah, I want to get BSD. What? We actually sat here a week ago, Bobby, and we said the best odds and the best money to make the juice worth the fucking squeeze is Paddy by submission, because we said Paddy, if the way that Paddy's going to win is by submission, fucking don't go to the ground with him. Who the hell? What kind of game plan does BSD have? We watched back to back dumbass game plans on Saturday. BSD and Connor, and BSD's might have been worse.
I'm still gonna go with the 5-year layoff and not landing a strike, but I did think we were behind this BSD, like, ever since he got a new training camp, because like, he
Right?
didn't, like,
He had
really
4
have a
wins in a row
team.
and he's looked good. Yeah.
He just showed Paddy no respect, and especially when you know that, like, Paddy is more than happy to go the ground, with a guillotine, to set that up, and just to give him your neck like that was, you know again, kinda not shocking because 'cause we've seen BSD do this stupidity,
Yeah.
but, I did incredible, way to get that Darce. Like, I
Yeah.
abs
I mean, the it was incredible choke. Like that might be submission of the year right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're a little bit more than halfway through, but it's definitely been added to my board for the end of year show, and,
Yeah.
especially, like, you do have to take into account how it was essentially quicker than the main event, which and, like, that was an actual, like, fight ending
Yeah.
sequence, so,
Yeah.
you could not have done it any better. Like you said, he nailed it on all fronts, with the microphone, you know, even the post-fight presser, like you could clearly tell, besides Dana White, like everyone was waiting around there to ask him questions. He having some Bud Light and some pizza, just answering all the questions. And then you saw in the back, Hunter Campbell and Dana are talking to him, and he's telling Hunter and Dana, "I'll go fight Max right now." And
Yeah.
Hunter tells them, "Hey, don't eat
Tony.
too much pizza. We're gonna
Right.
call you." So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I that is kind of the thing that always like keeps him out of camp, or keeps the fights like a little bit farther in between. But he's fought twice this year, and it's the middle of the year. So who's to
Yeah.
say that he can't turn around in another 4 to 5 months? I think at bar minimum, we'll see him by the end of the year. Um,
Yeah. I'm probably in agreement there too. Uh
Unless they're trying to wait to like have him in January, but it just makes like right off that momentum.
yeah, I think you could. I mean, he didn't take any damage. You could do it. I mean, I don't know if they'd put him in France. Like they're going to Paris again.
He's never fighting on a fight night again. He is like solely a number card guy now.
Yeah, that's probably
You,
true. Yeah,
you,
probably right.
you I mean, I understand like with the pay-per-view model, why does it really matter? That is a question for the UFC, brother, not me,
Yeah,
because I've been
you're right.
asking that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. He's probably too big for that. I'm trying to think. I don't know. He'd be a good co-main for sure on a weaker co-main. I don't. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, he fights comes back this year. Bobby, I want to move to the third fight, man, and Mario Batista. Like, when are people going to give this guy some credit? Like, I don't know what it is. Is it like I don't want to say he's like boring, but he's a great fighter, but it's just like he is not getting the love in pub like I feel like he is ready for. I know he had the close loss to Umar, but he took kind of Corey Sandhagen, a guy who just fought for the title, to the woodshed a little bit. I mean, in that third round, just ragdolled him.
Yeah, I mean, I said it last week. Mario Batista gets more hate for his win with Jose Aldo than Connor or Gable Stevenson ever got. So, but I think he's the most underrated fighter in the UFC, just because like people are still going to be like underrating him and discrediting his performance. They'll be like, oh, Corey tore his hamstring. It's like, yeah, he tore his hamstring.
Right,
like,
right. By doing a chokehold. It's not like the Connor deal where he just did something stupid. No, Mario made him tear his hamstring. Like literally had him in a hold that tore his hamstring.
And I got to give real credit to Corey for fighting out of that and having a really good bounce back second round.
I thought he won. I had it 1-1. Did you have it 1-1 going into the third?
Yeah.
I thought Corey won the second.
Especially like him throwing the kick, like what a psychopath, like just being able to put it behind him. And you could tell, the movement was eventually compromised, and Mario knew he needed the third round and made sure, he got it. But, it is 1-1. So I know they're not going to run that back anytime soon, but I thought it like delivered on all fronts. Like it's a bummer that he got injured at the end of the first, and it drove me more nuts that Paramount cut to the ad when you saw him limping
Yeah.
back to his corner. But you know, man, gotta get that money somehow. Um, but yeah, like Mario has is going to be very undeniable for a title shot anytime soon. Like I think at this point and he alluded to how he knows he's going to have to eventually fight his former training partner. I think Sean O'Malley it should absolutely be the fight. Like that is
That's what.
probably what I'd want to see the most if
Yeah.
he's not getting a title shot next, which I don't assume they're going to. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, like he has to fight Sean. Like that would be so they're gonna do. We know they're doing Jan versus Marab. So like you're gonna have to do O'Malley, Mario, and Umar's right there. He's fighting Song in a couple weeks. So like if he got past Song, he would be right there in line too. But like you give Mario and Sean O'Malley, like that's tough because I think I would favor Mario in that fight, Bobby, and I think like that
no
would lead
question.
like that would probably lead to the title fight. But yeah, I mean the guy is like he just is over. Like he doesn't do anything super great, right? Like he doesn't have like he just does everything really really good. Like he doesn't do one thing. Like, he doesn't have knockout power. He's not like a super elite wrestler. He's just really good at everything.
Yeah, well, his pressure and his pace is, part of that tool belt that he does really well. So, yeah, I'm glad it's weird because I'd like to say I'm glad he's finally getting the respect he deserves. But I mean that's like saying that to you, like you are giving him the respect he deserves. I hope the fans like kind of latch on, but I think a lot of them are just like, oh, well, went to decision. So what did he really do? And, he fought a very high, like there was not a moment that like Sandhagen was really out of that fight. Like, especially with Whitman in his corner, like me and you both had it 1-1 going into the third, and he made sure to get it done. So
yeah,
credit to him.
He just started ragdolling him. Like Corey would get up and then he would just kind of throw Corey back down. Obviously, with the hamstring issue, like I don't know if we'll see Corey come back this year, but I don't know. I was thinking him and Peyton Talbot. Like you wanted him to win that one, so it's him and O'Malley, and that's a fight I don't know if we'll get anytime soon anymore, Bobby. It might have missed the window. And Corey's lost like 3 out of his last 4 fights.
Did he drop out of the top 10 with that loss?
I'm looking at the rankings right now.
I'm pulling them up real quick. Because I don't know, like he's
still 5. Corey's still 5, and this is that's the media rankings, I think. Let me go. Oh, that was
they might have not even updated it.
Okay, so in the meta rankings, nope, they still got Corey at 5. He dropped 1 spot. Mario went up 2 spots.
Yeah, so I mean they kind of still obviously hold him in a really high regard. I think what would make the most sense would be like a David Martinez or something.
Okay. I like him, and I think him and Peyton Talbot would be a good one.
If they're willing to give Peyton that jump, I'd have no issue with the matchup itself.
Well, they haven't given him anything this year, so please fucking just get the kid on the card.
Yeah. Well, and then I kind of wonder, like, what's up with that? Like, what is taking them so long to book them? But, you got, like, a lot of different names there. I mean, Marcus McGee is there. They can and, yeah, I mean, he still should be top 5. Like, I still agree that he should be ahead of Song. Now, obviously, if Song could be Umar, that obviously changes.
Him and Bryce, Corey and Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be up for that. Corey is the type of fighter that, you know what you're getting from him. So he's like kind of not really matchup dependent. He'll fight anyone. He was one of the few people that took the fight with Umar when people really did not want to fight Umar. So, I know he probably would take any of these names offered. I would not hate the Talbot fight at all. Stylistically, I think it's very fun, but I definitely would have to favor Corey in that one if they were to make it.
Yeah. Let's get to the fight of the night. Again, something that we called, Bobby. We said, hey, check out Royval versus Kavanaugh, and it's going to be fight of the night. Two great flyweights, and they absolutely put on a show. Again, I had this one. I thought 1-1 going into the third. Luckily, we didn't need to go to the scorecards because Royval was able to get Loner out of there. And I don't know if Royval ever become a champion, but man, Bobby, he's one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC. I mean, just watch any one of his fights, but I just think he might be a cut to less of like those top two guys. I mean, that are getting ready to fight here in a few months.
Yeah, I mean, if it was any other division, I'd be with you. But like flyweight just feels like he can change on a dime.
Yeah.
I would like more generally agree, but at the same time, like he made it a point to pressure him in the first round, not let Loner get his counter game going. And in that second round, when he got dropped, I thought he was going to get out of there.
I did too.
His chin and his recovery is just, I could not believe that he actually ended up having good moments towards the end of that second round after that. So he's just so durable, and he's fought the best in the division. And I love that after it was 1-1, he made it a point to get the finish. He could have easily just held him down there and, let the time expire. He made sure to choke him out. And, it just reminds you, like, this guy has lost to, like, the best in the division, like Pantoja. Van, obviously, he got knocked out by Manel Kite. But
yeah.
He's also probably next in line for a title shot after Joshua Van and Pantoja. So he only loses to the top. And so because of that, like, I can't rule out him, being able to get one of those back one day.
Yeah. I was actually going to think, like, if he could probably get the loser, right, of the flyweight title.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, he's one of those guys that will like always answer it when his name is called.
And
So,
like him, and I mean, who would not sign up to see him and Joshua Van again?
Yeah, I'd be fine with it.
Like, there's not one person who watched the first fight and was like, it wouldn't be like, nah, I don't want to watch that one again. Like, sign me up. Sign me up.
That's another thing that Rogan was saying was, these guys are showing out because of the Conor fight. It's like, no, Joe, this is the flyweight division. Like
right.
This is why we love this division.
That's just Brandon Raw dogging it fucking out there because that's who he is, just fucking putting on a show for everybody. So, I mean, he's excited. Like, he is one. Can you agree though? He's one of the most exciting fighters in the organization. I feel like.
Easily. I mean, that's why he was put on this moment. Like, you knew what you were getting with this.
Yeah. Speaking of knowing what you're getting with this, we got exactly what we were getting with McKinney and King Green. McKinney almost he's getting out of here, and then Bobby puts it right back on him after he gasses out, and ends up maybe could have went to this second round, but stoppage it nonetheless right at the buzzer there at the end of one.
Yeah, I mean, he was gassed and took that body shot and covered up. So, though I get the argument for why not let it continue to the second, especially when McKinney was having moments against Green where you probably could have stopped the fight, because Bobby Green's strategy seemed to be to just let McKinney punch himself out, knowing he could like take the shots, and it ended up working. I mean, credit to Bobby; he deserves to be fighting.
He's won 4 in a row. Bobby at dang near 39. We're talking about Conor being 38. Bobby Green's, but he's still doing it, still in the game.
Yeah, and I think he was talking about like wanting to get on that LA card. I mean, just wanting to turn around. So credit to him. I'm glad. I'm glad the custom shorts didn't curse him,
Dan Hooker said to answer the call, said, hey, me and book it.
Give me Michael Chandler.
No, speaking of Michael Chandler, Terrence Kinney said him and Mike Chandler at 170.
God. I can't blame Terrence for trying, but no.
Yeah, he said, "Do me and Mike Chandler at 170."
I can't believe I missed that. He really tweeted that to him.
Yeah. I mental noted that so I could bring that up to you. That's why I didn't want to share it in the group in the text. I wanted to bring it to you.
I mean, it would definitely be fun, however long it would last.
Right? Yeah.
And I think Chandler would take it. He knows he has to weather a 2-minute. Like Terrence McKinney is like the best fighter the first 2 minutes, and then after that, it gets a little tricky.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Chandler last few fights he hasn't been going 2 minutes. So, Bobby, speaking of Bobbies and things, so I do like King Green and Hooker real quick, but did you also make of beefy Bobby Knuckles on Saturday as the Joe? They were hammering that home. I was like, man, geez, leave the guy alone. And but Bobby uses that extra weight, and I mean, I thought he broke old Buddy's jaw. I don't really see Bobby Knuckles. He says he said on Ariel, I think he's got 3 fights left, I believe, and I don't see a path to the title here for him. I mean, I guess, but I do you see Bobby Knuckles at a threat here at this division?
Pull up the division. Here,
okay.
I'll do it. Because literally, I was asking myself this earlier, because it's like, how many fights can he get there? And then, like, you look at the division, and a lot of it is fairly uninspiring,
Yeah, he's ranked 13 now. So, okay. I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to read out the top 8 guys or so. Alex Pereira, he's not beaten out. I mean, for some reason, they got Alex Pereira still here is ranked, but are in the division. But okay, let's take him out. Magomed Ankalaev, he's not beaten Big Ank.
I mean, that was the one I'm glad they didn't give him for the warm up, because but like, I don't know, like Navajo Sterling, who like we had questions about. That is interesting. Dustin Jacoby, like you're telling me you wouldn't think like Alonzo Metafield. I think all of granted he's ranked lower than him, but I don't know, like Dominic Reyes, Robert Whitaker.
Yeah, you know who I would really like to see, and I don't know if he just came out, Khalil Roundtree.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take that as well. You weren't sure what you were getting like the first couple minutes of that fight, but the longer it went on, the better Rob looked, and he undoubtedly. I'm not sure if it was a jaw. They said it wasn't the jaw. It might have been like a shattered nose, but definitely a feel-good win after his last couple of performances. I was glad to see him get back in the W column, and a lot of people were worried about the weight, moving up, especially with him, fighting in 170 in the past. So like now he's really going up, but I don't know. I just did not have any fear of the matchup, and I'm not really like that worried about the division. So I think you could easily have those 3 fights there, and who knows if he keeps going after that, but we definitely know he's not going down to 185 again.
Yeah, he's beefy Bobby Knuckles now. On the what make of the Gable Stevenson debut? I mean, he did what he was supposed to do, right? Like that's what I look at it as. He did what he's supposed to do. He didn't have to really wrestle, so that was kind of a plus because we know he can wrestle. He did what he was supposed to do, but I'm not sitting here going to say like he can beat the top 3 or 4 people in the heavyweight right now.
Yeah, I mean, one guy that had absolutely no issue untying his shoes during the walkouts was Gable. And, I do appreciate that he made it a point to strike with him and kind of show off what he had. I thought he would go a little bit more risk reverse. And he said, no, I'll throw that out the window. He was walking into quite a bit of shots. So like that
Yeah.
is kind of the only thing, though I like recognize the potential being at this division with the athletic pedigree. I completely get it. I assume they're going to give us like 2 or 3 more of these at least. Because even though the heavyweight division is kind of lacking, if you like pull up the rankings, I don't think they're really going to speed him up. And I saw people already calling for Hokit. I think we're more like years away from that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, Hokit would eat him up.
but he does
Hokit would.
have John Jones in his corner, and I do not doubt that John Jones could get him as ready as he could for a title shot in maybe 2, 3 years. But you also look at that division. Obviously, things need to get worked out, and I'm assuming by the time Gable would be a contender, they will be worked out.
Yeah.
But like how quickly do they give him to Ivasa? Like that might be another one.
Yeah,
But
the Asplund guy, the guy who on Data Contender Series who said he was gonna suck Dana White's toes.
yeah, I mean, I think even that is a little bit too soon. Like even though he came off a loss, I would actually credit Gable if they booked him in a fight like that.
Yeah.
And it that's definitely an option. My question would be, how quickly do we see him back in there? Is he going to fight like once every 6 months? Is he going to try to get in as much work as he can? Because we do got to still remember, this was only his 4th fight. So
Right.
he's young and he's got kind of a lot of room to grow. I'm assuming they're going to kind of do the Bo Nickel route with him and,
Slow burn.
match him up kind of gradually and do the slow burn.
Yeah. What'd you make Adrian Yanez? I'm doing put it to Cody Garbrandt. I mean, he ate like 1-2 shots and then he was done. It looked like Cody was going to put the down, and I think it's time for No Love. We always remember him for that one shining night, taking on Dominic Cruz and styling on him. But hopefully Yanez can. He's got some good hands, Bobby. I always thought he was a good boxer. Hopefully he can start making a kind of run here.
Yeah, no, great performance. I mean, especially that's pretty much what they wanted on the prelims. And very tough showing for No Love. I saw him take off his gloves, but he's already reiterated that he's not retiring. But with all due respect, I just think his chin is gone. I think he's just taking too many shots, and I don't really know how he's gonna kind of climb back. I mean, maybe he's just trying to go out on a win, but that's a dangerous game when you're chasing wins like that. But no, definitely amazing showing from Yanez there. Excited to see what they do with him next. On the earlier prelims, that Basharat fight, I definitely want to give a shout out to that Garza kid. Like, made me a fan that night. On short notice, was having no issues with the wrestling. He was breaking the hands, making a point to get back up, trying to dole out as much damage as he could on the feet. So I definitely hope they give him a long-term deal. I'm sure they will. And it's kind of like one of those rare instances. I'm more interested in what the loser of the fight is doing than Basharat.
Who lost the most stock on 329 card? Ooh, it's got to be Connor, right?
No question. If you're asking someone non-biasedly, because I mean, this could affect a future Netflix payday. I don't think they would not take the fight, but it might affect the amount of dollar signs on that check. And if I do think if any leverage that he wanted for the UFC and renegotiations, I think completely went out the door. So undoubtedly Connor, second, you would probably go BSD. I mean, the guy got finished quicker.
Yeah.
And then Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone else like on the prelims that we could do that for, but it'd probably be the main two there.
Yeah, that's it for me too.
Who
Anybody else you
didn't
want to
lose
shout out?
stock was Loner Kavanaugh, I don't think. Even though he got finished, we know
Yeah.
how the division will be. He'll be back, and it's flyweight, so plenty of more interesting fights.
Yeah, I don't think his stock he didn't lose stock at all. Was Loner. Anybody else you want to shout out on the prelims real quick before we hit this week's card?
I think that pretty much covers it, unless I'm
Luke
blanking
Riley
on.
had a nice win as well, and Wayne
and
Kong.
also, Luke Riley had the win and got the Paddy chant going early.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about as impressive as you can be, kind of when you're set up in that moment fighting on your guy's card. So I'm sure that had the team spirits and stuff. And then Wayne Kong had only a woman fight, but that was a good performance by her. Definitely agree with the point deduction with the illegal knee, but credit to Tracy for fighting. She looked like she took everything serious, but she absolutely had a rough night in the office.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into this card, what do you make of Izzy leaving City Kickboxing? And he didn't really say where he was going, but is leaving Coach Behrman.
I don't like it. Granted, my opinion is kind of irrelevant in his situation, but I do wonder if the reason he left is because Eugene was maybe asking him to retire, and Izzy wants to obviously keep fighting. Izzy said it was kind of a long thing coming. I do kind of understand that as well. He clearly did put that team on the map when he was having, his success in the UFC. Yeah. So he does deserve credit there, but it makes me a little bit nervous. I don't know if he's planning on just training with Volk's team. That seems a little too close to home, So I'm kind of interested to see what he does. It'd be cool if he ended up with Nick Sick. I know we'll never see that, but how surreal would that be to see him and Strickland sparring and working together?
Yeah, that would be.
He clearly thinks he needs a change. That last fight, I think he could have won it if he didn't just decide to stand there and be like, "Yeah, let's have a fight." He was having a lot of success,
right?
Until
he just stood there. Let's go rock him, sock him.
Yeah. So it didn't really catch me off guard when we heard about it. Because I know people in the past have talked about some stuff with him and Olberg. I don't really make too much of that stuff just because I'm obviously not in Australia. But if he thinks it's the time, he probably knows it better than anyone. But my hesitation is just if Eugene was kind of pushing retirement and he doesn't want to retire. But obviously Izzy is the one that makes that decision, so we'll let him make it.
Yeah, let's look at this week's card real quick, Bobby. It is headlined by the former middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis versus the former welterweight champion Kamaru Usman, making the jump to 185. Obviously, one of the last few times we saw Kamaru is when he had wrestled Hamzat at 185. Kamaru was coming off the sweep of Joaquin Buckley. We haven't seen Dricus since he lost the belt, so both kind of long layoffs. This card did lose Kevin Holland fight, so that was supposed to be the co-main. The co-main is Jared Cannonier versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Those are, the card's not super stacked. It's got some decent names. I always feel like Chase Hooper is always on these fight night cards, and he's on this card as well. But your thoughts here. Let's see, on the main event.
Yeah, it's a bummer they didn't get Jacoby Smith a replacement fight, but that close, I could see why they didn't book it. Very high quality main event, though. I mean, we've been waiting for this one for a long time, and we just, I don't know. They announced it under a month.
Yeah,
literally
so 3 weeks ago.
Announced that long ago.
Yeah.
Granted, they probably have been aware of the date and been in camp far before that. But yeah, I think this is a really kind of good test to figure out where both guys are at, you know. Dricus was on quite a run after winning the title. You know, he has 2 wins over the current champ. He was the first person to submit Adesanya. And then obviously the Chimaev fight went the complete opposite of his way, was pretty much essentially controlled for 25 minutes. So I do wonder if like Usman saw that and said, "Yeah, you know, I'll take this fight at 185,"
I
thinking it
do
might
think that's
maybe
what
be a
happened.
quicker path to the title. You know?
Yeah, I do think that's exactly what happened, Bobby. Like, I think that Usman saw, oh, I can, and he's like, I'm not taking much stock into that, is what he said today in like a presser. But I, I think we're all fucking. Don't play me for a stupid. Like, I think that he's gonna. I think that's exactly what he saw. He saw like, this guy can wrestle. I can beat him. I can become number 2 in this division, and I got a chance to get to the title.
Yeah, I actually I saw a few of the clips, and most of them I saw Usman seemed a lot more humble and stuff. Which you know, obviously he's getting up there, so I don't think he's really like cares to kind of engage with the whole ego thing. But like we saw it last time with Buckley, like he is still able to use his main bread and butter to win a fight. And you know, I think Usman should probably start trying to fight behind the jab. Trevor Whitman has made that jab very dangerous. And I think Dricka's plan should be to kind of show some pressure early and stuff. You literally didn't do anything in your last fight, so you should have plenty of energy. Drickus looked a hell of a lot bigger than Usman when you saw them facing off earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Drickus is a big 185er. You know what I
He's a
mean?
big
So,
boy. He cuts a
yeah,
lot of weight.
yeah. So it'll be interesting. Who you like? Who you like winning this fight?
I agree with the line. I don't think Usman should be like a ridiculous underdog, but it does kind of make sense with the new division. You know, even though Usman's fought here before, I get it. All that being said, if Usman was able to win 3 out of 5 rounds, it would not shock me at all. Like, I think if I assume Usman was still pretty good with the single leg. So I would assume that Drickus is going to get put down on his back at some point in this fight. And he just needs to, you know, get back to the fence. He cannot
Right.
afford to lay there in the middle of the fence like he did with Chimaev because Usman could easily just take rounds off him. But I'm confident that Drickus has drilled that and they're aware of that and they will be able to get up. And so it's very close for me. Like I would deem this a lot more of a 50-50 than a Drickus like -2.5 to 1. But I am going to
Yeah.
side
Right
with
now,
Drickus
it's
here. I think
right. Right now, the odds are for Usman's Drickus is -250.
yeah. And
Usman's
I get the line, especially like you know, with the activity and you know Dricus's success. But then like and I hate playing the MMA math, and it was at a different weight class. But if you look at how Usman did with Chimaev in those later rounds, that's where it like really starts getting interesting and why I view it as like more of a 50-50 coin flip.
Yeah.
But I do think Drickus still kind of finds a way to prolong and get it done. I see a lot of people saying they think Drickus is going to finish him. I would be extremely impressed if Drickus is able to get him out of there. Because you know, Usman is very tough and he's very good at maintaining that jab and applying pressure to get the takedown and wrestling up against the fence. And I think he is going to be able to do that at some points. But I do think Drickus is not just going to get completely stalled out like he did with Chimaev. And I don't think there's much of a submission threat from Usman. So he is going to be able to maybe give him his back to try to get back up and stuff.
Yeah. I here's the odds here. I like Duplessis by KO is +175. So I don't mind that. I really like the Usman by decision because I think Bobby. I think if he can control him on the ground and win 3 out of 5 rounds, I kind of really like it.
What's
Usman's
that number at?
plus 350.
And then what's his money line? Like plus 230?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get an extra 100 points. I actually love that because I think those two should be a little bit more aligned because that would be the method of victory if Usman gets it done for me too.
Same. And I like the I think the let me also look at the over under rounds here real quick. But I like DDP by knockout. I mean, it's only plus 150, but you're getting plus odds. I just think that's the way to go. And I was looking at
I can definitely justify it a lot more than laying the actual odds for Dricus to win straight up, even if I don't think he's able to finish.
I don't see the over under rounds here, but will the fight go the distance? Is no is minus 110, yes is minus 125, so it's about even.
Yeah, and I think that's valid.
Rob, questions before we get out of here. So he wants question number 1 was is women's MMA dead? Nah, I don't think so. They just haven't booked them, Rob. That's like they just haven't booked. We haven't got any women's fights hardly all year. I just think it's slow. Where's Valentina? Where's Weili?
UFC's Paramount Plus thinks women's MMA is dead. Ryzen is actually doing the kickoff to one of their tournaments on Friday for their atomweight division. So, yeah, if you want women's MMA, I would suggest other promotions for the time being because it is really bizarre the lack of, and I'm not like really complaining about it, but it did throw me off that there was only one female fight on the last card. It was a pretty decent fight too. Like at least they booked one with action, but I'm assuming it is more Paramount. I mean, I know the UFC says they don't listen to that type of shit, but there has to be some alignment of them slow playing this because like the divisions aren't even moving. Like it's not that the champs aren't, fighting. Granted, the
Nobody's
Philly card
fighting.
has the Philly card has 2 female fights on the main card. I know a bunch of people are heated about that. And
I saw
I'm just
that.
trying to like point out, like, guys, we haven't gotten any of it. Like, what do you expect them to do?
Yeah. Then Rob says, who's the last person to fight in the UFC? John, Izzy, or Connor? Izzy. John's already done.
Yeah, probably Izzy. I mean, it's kind of hard to rule out them just deciding to come to terms with them. So, but yeah, I love how that's like the shit show question of, Izzy's the one we know will have one left. And, Connor's got one left. So, yeah, it would probably be Izzy.
He says, buy or sell one of these days. Chase Hooper is going to put it all together and end up going on a Justin type run. If you asked me a year ago, I probably would have said I probably would have bought, but now I think I'm going to sell.
Yeah, I mean, he is extremely. I mean, I know he's older now because he came into it really young, but he has like came into his frame more. It's very tough to do it at the division he's in. That is kind of the main thing I want to point out there. So I'm gonna buy just because I have a lot of love for Chase Hooper. I can't sell any Chase Hooper stock, but the last few have been rough. So that is one I am kind of hoping that he gets back on track.
Same. I always root for Chase. Like I always want him to win. Like I do like the kid. I think he's a good fighter, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just every time I think it's like I get excited because he gets like 1 or 2 wins in a row. And you're like, here we go, Chase, and then he loses like 1 or 2, or loses like 2 out of his next 3 or something.
Yeah, this is at least a much more winnable fight. So I think he'll be able to. I'm hopeful at least.
Yeah. He said Usman's cooked. Yeah. So we know now Khamzat was overrated. So Usman doing what he did is overrated.
It's a very jaded way to look at it, Rob, but I respect it.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick shout on Tommy McMillan and Alberto Montez. That's like a 50-50 fight, and I think that would be like very entertaining. That's I don't want to say like a huge step up for McMillan because they're both fairly new to the UFC, but
Yeah.
they're not doing like that O'Malley build. Like these are very like compelling matchups. So kind of interested to see how that goes there.
I really like Jared Cannonier too. Like,
Yeah,
he's plus 275.
yeah, and like Christian Leroy Duncan has absolutely been on the tear, and he
This is
deserves
a
to be
big
the
jump for
favorite.
him, though. This is a big jump.
Yeah, and like Jared Cannonier is that guy that has slowed down a lot of these guys, skyrocketing to the top. So I think it's a worthy co-main event replacement. I'm not mad. This card is pretty decent. It's the Abu Dhabi card next week got really rough with Roundtree falling out and then them pulling Umar to China. So enjoy this one. I mean, I know there'll still be some decent ones next week, but it got a lot less juicier. And then I'll say it. I got to close with all of them. If you want some UFC some outside the UFC MMA, Ryzen has a show on Friday night in America time. Obviously, Japan's the next day.
I don't know if Rob wants to know who's Connor fight next. I don't know if we ever. I thought we answered that. I don't. Well, I guess we didn't really. Who does he fight next?
They're going to match him up with Morales or Prates and kill him with one fight left. They're doing him no favors. Oh, yeah. I see a bunch of people wanting the Michael Chandler fight. You are delusional if you think he has one fight left.
They already tried to give him. They already tried to give him Carlos Prates.
Yeah, but that didn't materialize because of their end. They will absolutely offer that. If not, they'll offer Morales. My point is they'll hurt him on the way out. Like if Shavkat ever comes back, they'll feed him to Shavkat.
That's who it'll be. That's who it'll be.
They're doing no favors with him going out the door. I can promise you that.
I don't know if I don't know if they would book Shavkat and Connor just because they're like one of these knees is going out. One of these knees going out. They ain't got one good knee between the two of them.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a risky one.
No. All right, Bobby. We'll catch you next week, folks. This has been another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. For my guy Bobby Blunts, I'm Bodkins. We'll see you next week right here. Headkicks and Haymakers, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Like, subscribe, share. Do all the cool stuff. Watch the fights this weekend.
Watch Ryzen on Friday. Don't hold me against Danny Sabatello, but
thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.
That was a good one.